Welcome to this tutorial on late-initialized properties in Kotlin. In this video, you'll learn about the lateinit modifier, which is a powerful feature for handling properties that cannot be initialized immediately during object construction. This is an essential concept in Kotlin object-oriented programming that helps you write cleaner and more expressive code. Let's start by understanding the problem that lateinit solves. Imagine you have a user profile class with properties like name and email. Sometimes, you don't have values for these properties at the moment of object creation. The traditional approach in Kotlin would be to declare them as nullable types using the question mark syntax and initialize them with null. However, this approach has a major drawback. Every time you access these properties, you need to perform null checks or use safe call operators. This makes your code verbose and harder to read. The solution to this problem is the lateinit modifier. By adding lateinit before var, you can declare a non-nullable property without initializing it immediately. Notice how the same user profile class now has name and email as lateinit var properties of type string without the question mark. This tells Kotlin that you promise to initialize these properties before accessing them. The beauty of this approach is that you get non-nullable types without needing to initialize them in the constructor, and you don't need null checks when using them. Let's see how lateinit works in practice with a database class example. Here, connection is declared as a lateinit var of type string. In the initialize function, you assign a value to connection. Later, in the query function, you can access connection directly without any null checks. The code is clean and straightforward. Kotlin trusts that you've initialized the property before using it. If you access a lateinit property before initializing it, Kotlin will throw a special exception to alert you, rather than giving you a null pointer exception. There are 4 important requirements you must follow when using lateinit. First, it must be a var property, not val, because you need to assign a value to it later. Second, it cannot be a nullable type. The whole point of lateinit is to avoid nullability, so you cannot use the question mark with it. Third, it cannot be a primitive type like int, double, or boolean. Lateinit only works with reference types like string or custom classes. Fourth, it cannot have a custom getter or setter. These restrictions ensure that lateinit behaves predictably and safely. Let's explore 3 common scenarios where lateinit is particularly useful. First is dependency injection, where frameworks like Dagger or Coin inject properties after object creation. Second is unit testing, where you often initialize test objects in a setup method rather than in the constructor. Third is Android development, where views and other components are typically initialized in lifecycle methods like onCreate, after the activity or fragment is constructed. In all these cases, lateinit provides a clean and safe way to handle delayed initialization. Sometimes you need to check whether a lateinit property has been initialized before accessing it. Kotlin provides a special syntax for this using the double colon operator followed by the property name and .isInitialized. In this service class example, the start function checks if config has been initialized using this syntax. If it has, the function prints the config value. Otherwise, it prints a message saying it's not initialized. This is particularly useful when dealing with optional initialization scenarios, or when you want to avoid exceptions in certain code paths. Let's summarize the key points about lateinit. First, use lateinit for properties that will be initialized after object construction, but before their first use. Second, it helps you avoid nullable types and the associated null checks, making your code cleaner and more readable. Third, be aware that accessing a lateinit property before initialization throws an exception, so make sure you initialize it in time. Fourth, you can always check initialization status using the double colon property name .isInitialized syntax. Mastering lateinit will help you write more elegant and maintainable Kotlin code. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.